Since I was a kid, I've been a G. If I was your wife, could I win? And sometimes all over my body, she just won't mind it. Ever since I was a G, I've been a G. Wish I never know she wanted me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new season of top tier sim racing action. You're tuned into the Broadcasting Lounge, and tonight we kick off round one of the Supercars NZ MRP GTE Championship, coming to you live from the legendary Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, better known as Imola. This historic Italian circuit is no stranger to drama and intensity, with its fast sweeps, tricky chicanes and iconic corners like Tamburello, Periatella and Ravazza. Imola demands precision and bravery, and this grid of talented GTE drivers is ready to put on an absolute show for the opening round. A new season means fresh rivalries, returning favourites, and a championship that's wide open. Expect bold overtakes, calculated strategy, and plenty of action across every lap tonight. I'm your host for the evening, Shane White, and joining me in the lounge, ready to break down every moment of the action, is my co-commentator, Corey Kitchen. Corey, great to have you here for the start of another season. What are you looking forward to as we kick things off at Imola?
Well, where do I start? It's we can have a little bit more aero these boys from last week in the GT3. A little bit longer of a race. Well, I'm looking forward to Imola being one of my favourite tracks. What a place to start it off, Shano. But yeah, who's gonna come out on top? Who's gonna master the 4 rounds we've got left here of spring, Shane?
Yeah, that's right. Short, sharp GTE Championship coming your way. 4 rounds starting tonight, and it all starts with a 60-minute race around this great Italian circuit. Very cool track Imola is, and a favourite among many drivers in the sim world as well. So, good field turning out tonight. Looks like around just over 20 drivers by the look of it. And we've got decent conditions out there, 20 degrees ambient temperature and partly cloudy, so skies are looking pretty clear on the drone shot there, so will be a little bit of sun breaking down, but it is quite early in the morning as well, so the track temperatures should be down fairly low at the moment, and they should have plenty of grip out there.
Yeah, just over 20 degree track temperature at the moment, so pretty good. Plenty of grip, plenty of downforce in these cars. Extra aero, they do crash spectacularly.
Yeah, we are currently in the warm-up. Qualifying just wrapped up as we went live. Mitchell Sparrow took pole position tonight. A notable absence tonight is our GT3 champion for spring, and also our race week sponsor, Stephen McCartan. So he is sponsoring this week's racing. He and his wife together own and operate DSM Painting and Decorating. So they're a husband and wife painting team based in Taranaki. They're qualified and experienced and happy to provide a wide range of services, including cleaning and water blasting, interior and exterior painting, staining, plastering, wallpaper, new builds and repaints. And you can find them on Facebook under DSM Painting and Decorating, or at dsmpainting.co.nz, and all their contact details are available there as well, and you can see some of the work that they've done recently on there as well.
Yeah, and even just out of the blue, you might even want some help in the sim world, and I'm sure Stefan could help you out with that too, because he is a great racer. He's got a few Supercars NZ Championship bouts under. Well, I've lost my train of thought, but he's got a few titles now. So yeah, there's that comes with a little added pressure when you're on track. And there goes Sam Miller putting it backwards to the sand. Plenty of sand around here.
Yeah, there is plenty of sand, which I like because, you know, we often go to Grand Prix tracks where you can run a little bit wide and have these big car park runoff areas that you can just run through and get away with it. And to be fair, iRacing tends to punish you with a slowdown when you do that, but I love when you get punished by actually going into the gravel and having to clean up your tyres as Sam's doing there and getting slowed down and all these other things that come with ploughing through the gravel when you run off track. It's such an awesome challenge. A lot of the guys out there maybe won't like the gravel that gets dragged back onto the track, but hey, that's all part of it, isn't it?
It is. And rolling start, I believe, too. And they're going to need to stop for fuel. I never quite got to working out how much, but anyway, let us know in the chat how many laps these guys are going to get out of a tank. That might help us out.
Yeah, 60-minute race coming up, and we can have a look at our starting grid for tonight. So as I mentioned, Mitchell Sparrow takes the pole position tonight. Hogan Shrimpton will share the front row with Mitchell there, starting in P2. Sean McNamara and Aaron Goodrick making up the second row, and then Rob Carwood, Shane Edgar, Leith Swinney and Dylan Radford. And then we've got Steve Darren, Dane Noduff rounds out the top 10, James McKenzie there in 11th, Wayne Hartnell 12th, then back to Josh Thompson, Sam Miller, Dan Turner, Thomas McCall, and then Alan Scott and Steve Vella off the back by the look of it. Peter Vanderberg, down to Graff and Jono Gibson all in race control tonight, and I can hear some cars revving in the background, so I think we are getting ready to roll away behind the pace car, and the pace car does move off now, and we are ready and rolling. Looks like 18 cars taking the start tonight, and we are going to see 60 minutes of very intense action here at Imola.
Yeah, who's going to get there? Get through this first part of the race unscathed. Still some sick people out there. I did see a Ford. Anyway, just I don't know how they get by in life driving that thing.
I don't know how anybody gets by in life driving anything with a blue oval on it.
Don't be silly, Shano. Don't be silly. It's just that certain one that sounds just hideous. Mustang leading us away at the moment too.
So what do we got? We've got 3 BMWs up the front, and then a couple of Corvettes, another BMW, a Ford, a Ferrari, a few more BMWs, a few more Fords. BMW looks to be the dominant manufacturer out there tonight, though.
Yeah, you didn't mention any Porsches. Is there nobody in a Porsche?
No, Peter Vanderberg has joined the server in a Porsche, but he's in race control. But anyway, the pace car is pulled off, and we are getting ready to roll. Mitchell Sparrow is going to have control, leading them down towards the start-finish line, waiting for that green flag. Waiting and waiting and waiting for that green flag. And we are green now, and we are racing at Imola. A bit early to jump on that camera, heading down in towards Tamburello. Mitchell Sparrow is going to lead them in there, and plenty of action side by side. Sean McNamara moving up to P2, getting ahead of Hogan Shrimpton on that one there, flying through Tamburello. Everybody pretty clean there on the first lap. Good to see down into the Villeneuve chicane. Still a bit of side-by-side options. Sam Miller going ahead of Tom McCall there. Oh, and there's contact. That is Josh Thompson going around. Looks like he got it back up and running, but going through the gravel and having to rejoin at the back and dragging a chunk of gravel onto the circuit with him as well. Mitchell Sparrow continues to leave over Sean McNamara. There's a bit of side by side there. Look like Steve Darren and Dylan Radford.
Everybody sort of settled into the groove. There's a bit of a battle. Looks like it might be Steve Darren.
Oh!
A bit of a heated battle there. Something. It's Dylan Radford dropping down the order there in the Ford GT.
Yes, so Dylan was going side by side with Steve, and it looks like he's just come to grief there. That looked like a Team West car making a move at the chicane, and a fairly good move there as well. I didn't quite pick up who that was, unfortunately, but filtering their way through, and it's going to be Mitchell Sparrow taking control of the first lap, and already just shy of a second clear of Sean McNamara in P2. So Mitch Sparrow making his intentions very clear early on in this one that he wants to control this race from the front.
Yeah, I've just realised how many BMWs there actually are in the field, Shane, and a majority of the field. And there's more Fords than Ferraris and Corvettes. That is outrageous.
I tend to agree with that. But yeah, might be a little bit BMW Cup here tonight as Mitchell Sparrow runs wide, breaking in that gravel, and Sean McNamara is going to move to the lead, but they're going to go side by side. Mitchell Sparrow will have the inside for the next corner, but then, the next proper corner, Sean's going to have the inside actually, so sweeps through and takes the lead. Mistake from Mitchell Sparrow getting into that gravel that was dragged on by Josh Thompson on lap 1, and running wide and opening the door for Sean McNamara to take the lead early on in this one.
Yeah, Mitchell Sparrow had enough of Sean Mack in the mirror, and yeah, that's it. Shakes it up a little bit, and Aaron Goodrick is the Corvette. There's a couple of Corvettes there, and then there is just BMWs, Ferrari thrown in there. Looking pretty good so far. Fastest lap of the race for Mitchell Sparrow though, 142s so far, and that is quite a bit quicker than everybody else, but obviously losing a little bit of that.
Yeah, so we've got a bit to unpack there. We'll just stick with this battle for now, because this is going to be Mitch Sparrow's chance, and he actually gets alongside fairly easily and gets in front before the braking zone. So I think he drafted alongside there, but I think Sean maybe not making that too hard. Probably recognised that that was a battle that wasn't worth getting too heavily involved in at this stage. So ultimately, the Mitch Sparrow mistake started with the Josh Thompson moment. So he's side by side at 2-1. Oh, there's a bit of contact and maybe a little bit of netcode at play there. Ends up in the gravel anyway and rejoins, and you can see just how much of that gravel came back on track with him, and he sort of brought it across the racing line as well, and then dirty tyres, loses the rears into the left-hander for good measure. So not going to plan there for Josh. We also saw Dylan Radford go off track on lap 2. Well, we didn't see it, but we're going to see it now.
Keep seeing all these Ford GTs.
Big spin there for Dylan.
Oh,
The
somebody
big
else
one
off there. Was that Steve? Might have had a spin out of that as well, did he? That little truck.
Not too sure.
There was a BMW coming out of the sand trap on the other side of the road there, where Dylan went off in that last clip right at the end.
Yeah, I didn't quite see that. I was looking back at my data there, trying to find the Mitchell Sparrow incident. He didn't actually go off track, so I'm not seeing direct data on that, but if I can find data on Sean McNamara passing Mitchell Sparrow, then that... Oh, here we go. This looks like this might be it here. So we'll grab that and then jump back 2 minutes Sparrow so you can see him running through that gravel, and you can see it wobbling around under brakes and pinched the front as he tried to turn it in the air, and did a good job to just run it around the outside, not panic, lost that position but got back up and running, and we saw starting the next lap he was able to get back into the lead and coming from quite a way back as well, getting into the draft and just cruising on by. I think Sean might have actually lifted off quite early there.
Yeah, he got a little bit of a tow. He got a fastest lap of the race that last time by too, 1:39.952, so almost a second faster than Sean that last time by, and he's just over half a second behind him here at the moment.
Yeah, so Sean's staying in touch, so Mitchell Sparrow not clearing out quite as much as he did on lap 1. Could be a little bit of fuel saving going on. Don't imagine that he's going to save enough to not need to stop, but he could just shorten up that stop time.
Yeah, Sean Mack was probably I think it's the fastest car on the track that last time by, and only by a few tenths quicker than Mitchell Sparrow there. So bit of pace on in that Valvoline BMW.
Yeah, and Hogan Trimpton's actually just set the fastest first sector of anybody with a 20.36. Mitchell Sparrow, though, you might have noticed, is that gap did just stretch out a little bit. In sector 2, he's gone faster than anybody on this lap as well. So he's put the foot down a little bit, maybe taking his time to get those tyres cleaned off again, and maybe waiting for that that mess out of the second chicane to get cleaned up, and now he's stretched his legs a little bit and is opening that gap up again out to over a second now.
It is one of those tracks that you need to get into a flow, so maybe that's it. Just got onto that flow. It's got elevation, it's got ups and downs, it's got chicanes, some of those chicanes, and if you get too much curb, especially in these cars, they do not enjoy it at all, do they?
You know, there's some pretty big sausage cubes. We like our sausage cubes in the broadcasting age, don't we, Corey? But some pretty big sausage cubes at those chicanes that will very much throw the balance of a GT car off. And you can see there, it's actually those ones that lie perpendicular to the track that are very difficult to be able to get your car across those in a stable way. But Mitchell actually attacking them quite hard at the moment and doing a good job. Quite often you'll find as soon as you get near, even think about touching one of those, it'll throw your car off the track. But Mitchell able to attack them quite hard at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'm still thinking about sausage curbs and just had this idea in my head. If you're watching and you're a butcher and you want to sponsor us, we could give away some meat packs over the summer. That would be pretty cool. So hopefully, if you're watching this and you know a butcher and they could be enticed into a bit of fun, get in touch with Supercars NZ
Oh,
Gmail. Oh, someone
Sean
wired the Gmail
McNamara.
at the start, so just check that out. Yeah, Sean McNamara takes a trip through the gravel there. We'll have a look at that.
Yeah, so he's lost a couple of spots there as well. Rejoins in fourth. He was going so well there, running up in second position since the start of this race, but the mistake there coming and dropping him back 2 positions. Weirdly, that hasn't registered as him going off track, but what has registered is Hogan Shrimpton and Aaron Goodrick passing Sean McNamara. So we can have a look at that. Into Aquaman Rally, just running a bit wide onto the AstroTurf and then just couldn't get it slowed down efficiently for the second part. And I think, was Hogan ahead of, he was ahead of Aaron going into that, wasn't it? It looked like a pass was put on there, but I think Hogan and Aaron maintaining their positions there.
Yeah, Hogan, where he started, so maybe he had lost a position to Sean Mack.
yeah, Sean was able to jump in at the start and had maintained that P2 running since then, but yeah, that little mistake there, just dropping him back into P4. But he's looking racy and he's looking to go on the attack against Aaron Goodrick, try and get back into the podium positions.
It looks like Josh Thompson taking a pit stop, has he? I think. Or has he parked it?
He is on his way back out now, so without any numbers on what we're expecting in terms of fuel usage and fuel mileage, we don't know whether that's going to be enough to get him to the end of this race. Still quite early, just under 50 minutes to go, so yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. I'm not 100% sure whether he's going to have enough to get to the end, but battle going on here. Bottom end of the top 10. Wayne Hartnell putting pressure. Oh, actually no, sorry. Wayne Hartnell receiving pressure from his teammate Tom McCall. So it's actually a Team West three-way battle here as they all duke it out for the last two spots inside the top 10. Dan Turner is the third car in that queue, and he is gonna, well, he was looking to get some overlap on Tom McCall, but not quite able to get there just yet.
Yeah, a bit of a cluster of BMWs. They're right there as well. Steve Darren just up in front of these three. One behind is there as well. Yeah, Dane Notiff up in behind. Your illustrious leader.
Oh, Tom McCall runs wide, gives up the position. Dane's going to sneak on by as well there, and a whole bunch more gravel dragged back onto the track there. And we were talking about that in the warm-up, weren't we? The presence of the gravel traps and the fact that when you do run through that gravel, it's inevitable that as you rejoin, a bunch of that is going to come back out onto the track, and that is always a challenge for all the drivers to try and navigate that. Great recent
Yeah,
update from iRacing to bring that debris model in where that actually has an effect on grip levels now as well, where in the past it wasn't really a thing.
yeah, it's great to see, and everybody has to act accordingly around it as well. That'd be awesome for iRacing to chuck in a flag system that worked well with circuit racing, but we still thank iRacing for the service they provide us.
Well, to be fair, they've actually got a slippery surface flag that works quite well with that debris model. So if there's a large amount of debris dragged back onto the track, you will get the black and orange striped flag telling you that there's a slippery surface ahead, and that's a good warning. But you don't always get it, and it's always a real challenge when you commit to the braking zone, turn in, and realise there's a bunch of gravel sitting right on the apex of the corner. That's always a real clinch moment.
Yeah, it's just settling in here. This little battle, sort of mid-pack. Wayne Hart was sitting in ninth position. He's up 3 spots too, so Dan Turner up 5. He could be our biggest mover so far. Tom McCall up 4 spots. Steve O'Vella, he's up 3. See Steve back. He's raced with us before. Races with Lazarus and those boys.
There has to be a story here. Sean McNamara is back into P2. Hogan Shrimpton has dropped down to P5. And Aaron Goodrick there sitting in P3, but looking to go challenge Sean McNamara for P2. Not quite able to do that just yet.
Yeah, you'll be happy there's a Corvette up in the mix at least. 2 of them in the field. Rob Carwood and one as well.
Yeah, and they're both running inside the top 10, so that's more than can be said for the two Ferraris.
Yeah, well, there's one of them at least up there, Leith, sitting in 7th, so he is flying the flag for them. But it is definitely the BMW Cup. First time I've seen so many BMWs and no Blake Greenhall.
Yeah, and the irony is when we ran the GTEs last season, that was probably the first time we ran a GT car that wasn't a BMW for a very long time.
That's right. Yeah, he busted out, but it was Porsche Cup too, wasn't it? Then as well, there was a
It
lot of
was.
Porsches that season that you were talking about. That's last season, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. So I think we should be able to pick up what happened to Hogan Shrimpton from this replay. So he had a little bit of a gap back to Aaron and Sean, and then just runs wide and loses the rear as well. So getting out onto that AstroTurf, and the rear just stepped out on him. Lost 3 spots there before getting back underway, and yeah, he'll be disappointed with that because he was running strongly in second, and now he's back into P5 and on the comeback trail now.
Yeah, on the way back up.
Doing well though, he's only 17th of a second behind Shane Edgar, so he's going to be looking to challenge for position there before too long, and then he's only a couple of seconds away from Aaron Goodrick in third, so doing a good job on the recovery and can get back into that battle that he has been racing within since the start of the race.
Yeah, Alan Scott down the lane taking his fuel. There was a message in the chat that Josh stopped for fuel and he'll have enough to get home, I think is what it says.
Send it some team support there. He should have enough fuel now, but he needed repair after that early crash too. Yep, fair enough. Syndicate Sims also saying Rob has a Porsche, he thinks. Rob Carwood is in a Corvette. So no.
No, just Peter. So I don't know. Yeah, that's obviously the safety car wasn't loaded in, so there was no safety car for the boys tonight. We haven't needed one, which was good because if we remember last GTE season, it was quite hectic with the safety cars. So everybody's learned a little bit. So good to see.
Steve Darren running wide there. Might pick up a slowdown for that one as well, so he may be vulnerable to Dan Turner here. And he does just pull off line to serve that slowdown, and Dan should be able to have the speed to get past, although they're going to go side by side, so Steve might have managed to clear that relatively quickly, and Dan, oh, he's lost the rears trying to go around the outside, goes around, ends up in the gravel.
Yeah,
One
might have
thing
been a little bit of gravel on the road there too that made that tough. He was right on the edge of the track, wasn't he, Dan? And that's a little bit unlucky. Good little bit of racing there between those two.
Yeah, it was. He was certainly out very wide, and yeah, just lost the rears there. As you say, potentially some gravel out on the outside of the circuit there, and certainly off the ideal line, and just running out of grip on the rear axle and going around and rolling back into the gravel. And one thing I do like that's probably not quite 100% realistic in iRacing about the gravel is if that was real life, there's a good chance he would have been stuck there. And I like that that's not the case in iRacing, because it would be very frustrating the amount of gravel traps that I've ended up in if he actually got stuck in them.
Oh, wouldn't it? Yeah, and you'd have to get the old toe out. That would be very much fun.
Danoda running around in P10 at the moment, not too far behind Steve Darren, so there's a few different people that have occupied these positions, but the tail end of the top 10 seems to be a magnet for battles at the moment, along with the second and third spots on the podium as well. We're seeing a fair bit of field spread early on throughout this one, but the podium battles and the back end of the top 10 battles seem to be where all the action is, no matter who is occupying those spots tonight.
Yeah, she's a long race. We're only 20 minutes in, so still another just under 40 minutes to go here. And everyone's going to have to stop at least once to take some fuel to get themselves home. It's just the one race for this GTE season, and it's going to go on for another 3 more rounds after this, Shano.
It is, and then actually I believe on the eve of our final race for the season, as Steve Darren runs wide there, he's going to be vulnerable. Don't know if he's going to have to go the long way round, but gets it done in the braking zone. So a couple of mistakes in the last couple of laps for Steve have cost him dearly, and he may end up dropping out of the top 10 here. Tom McCall putting pressure on, and James McKenzie just in behind as well. Tom's going to have to go all the way around the outside, but if he can live there, he's going to get the inside down at Aqua Minerale. And almost keeps his nose in. Steve could have chopped down to the apex, but left the door open. Probably not quite sure where Tom was there and just left racing room. And this is going to get very spicy as they all three try and pile into the chicane at the same time, but doing a good job and getting through there quite nicely. Steve's slow off the chicane though, and Tom McCall going to get a run at him again, try and get down the inside. And he should get the job done this time. Does indeed. So Steve just dropping out of the top 10 now and coming to the pits. Probably not a bad call. Couple of mistakes creeping in there. Get to the pits, reset the mentality, get out into some fresh air and just focus on putting some clean laps down.
Yeah, getting out of the hustle and bustle that is the mid-pack.
I was very much mid-point when I started calling the action as Steve ran wide there, and now I cannot remember what I was talking about in the slightest.
We were talking about the tracks. Anyway,
Yes,
Canadian Tire next week, so it's another track that's going to be flowy, another sort of flowy track. Spa, lots of flow, and then we're going to go to an Indy circuit at Long Beach. So that's a good way to round out spring too, and I'd say fairly soon the sign-ups for summer will be coming out, so keep an eye out for that on the Supercars NZ community page as well, and no doubt you'll hear it from either Sean and Wayne on Tuesday or us on a Thursday, but it's going to be sign-up season pretty soon for summer. Looking forward to that. Bit of heat.
Yeah, bringing the heat in summer at Supercars NZ. Those sign-ups will be out shortly. Sean McNamara making a move on Aaron Goodrick, gets up into P2, gets the job done before the turn-in for the first chicane there. I did remember the point I was about to make, which is that on the eve of our final race of this GTE Championship, there'll be a new season build come out. Included in that is something I'm very excited about, the Adelaide Street Circuit, Corey.
Oh yes, that is going to be a popular track that week, isn't it, Shane?
Absolutely, and I very much hope we're going to see it in both categories, both V8s and GTs next season.
I'd say we will. We do know the people that have the power, and there's been some announcements of some other cool tracks too. St. Petersburg Indy Circuit is coming out too, another street circuit, which gets me really rowdy. The more street circuits we have, the happier I am going to be, along with a massive crowd of supercars fans as well as. Yeah, but that's awesome to see Adelaide coming out. West Pookie got to be coming soon, surely.
Yeah, we've been waiting a long time for that, haven't we? Nearly over 5 years now since it was announced. No, sorry, not. It wasn't 2020 that was announced, was it? That was when they
A
cancelled
couple of years.
that race.
Yeah, a
It was
couple of years.
would have been 2022, I believe. So yeah, about 3 years, just over 3 years since that was announced that they were scanning it, and we had confirmation not too long after that it was scanned, but we've just been patiently waiting and not hearing a lot. Rumours that it's been put on the back burner because some of these tracks that we're seeing come out have some pretty strong financial backing behind them, which obviously Pukekohe doesn't have that. Oh, Sean McNamara, after moving into P2, runs wide and then drops back into P5, so the theme of tonight is mistakes costing drivers dearly tonight.
Yeah, musical chairs in the top 5. Musical chairs around 8th through to 12th, hasn't it?
It really is, and even second to fifth, but no troubles out there. Well, this guy did make a mistake early on. Well, he will argue less a mistake just affected by gravel, but at the end of the day, he didn't drive to the conditions that he had on track at that moment, and he ran wide and lost position. But since then, it's just been smooth sailing for him, and he's cleared out to nearly a 12-second lead over Aaron Goodrick now.
Yeah, he's just cruising along. He's been running fairly consistently in the 139s. I've seen that number popping up in his last lap time on the live timing, and if you want to watch the live timing, you can get that in the link in the description of the video as well. Always good to be able to see what everybody's up to. Bit of data, as they say.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Corey, because it occurred to me after we streamed last week that we haven't actually been pushing that at all for a very long time, and I thought we need to do that, but I'd forgotten about it tonight, so thanks for being on to that for me, and yeah, jump on that and follow along with all the timing that we have access to, and that's all fully customizable as to what data you see on your screen as well, so check that out and follow along with all the timing.
Yeah, it's a great little tool, and it's definitely, now that we've found this out, is saving us money at Supercars NZ with not needing so many SDK accounts. So that's been great. And of course, you can check out the V8s live on Sky, isn't it? On Face TV.
Yeah, channel 83, I think.
Yep, that's it. 83, channel 83. Year I was born, Shano.
Oh, very nice. That makes you 8 years older than me.
Yep, that makes me in my 40s. Lived in 5 decades, though. 2 millenniums. 2 different centuries. And I'm not even 50 yet.
Shane Edgar dives to pit lane. Ooh, interesting little jink to the right there as he got to the line. Oh, he's got a black flag next to his name on my time, and so I think that jink to the right was maybe a result of a lockup trying to get the speed scrubbed off, and he wasn't quite able to do that, and he's going to have to hold in the box for 40 seconds after he's completed the stop, and to cap that off, not quite getting into his box cleanly as well, and had to pull forward a little bit further after he initially stopped.
Yeah, he was running around happily in the top 5 chain, so that's going to definitely set him right back. Already been sitting for 20 seconds, so that's it's unfortunate.
And potentially forgetting to tick tyres off as well because he's gone up on the jacks. There was a delay to going up on the jacks, but I believe these GTE cars do fuel and then tyres, so I think he put a splash of fuel in, went up on the jacks to do tyres. 4 tyres are done now, and now he's going to have to sit there for another 40 seconds and serve that penalty. So that has all just compounded for Shane there in an absolutely disastrous pit stop.
And Aaron Goodrick, he's managed to put a wee bit of a gap in between himself and Hogan Shrimpton now. He's not really catching Mitchell Sparrow, but he's at least getting away from that chasing bunch behind, which isn't really a bunch anymore, because Sean McNamara looks like he's dropped right back from Hogan as well.
Yeah, actually, not sure this is gonna, I think this is gonna be something we've already, oh, maybe not. This might be Oh yeah, so he's climbed up on that curb there, gone around, and that reminded me of exactly the same corner in the V8s, probably a year or two ago now, when Dana Jerry joined us for a long-awaited guest appearance. It had been a long time since he'd been in. It's been a long time since he's been back in there. It was certainly a one-off since he was been off being a regular admin and streamer at Supercars NZ, but he joined us for that, and myself, Dana, and Wayne all took great pleasure in replaying multiple times a very similar spin at that exact same corner for Sean McNamara that night.
Yeah, he took too much of that sausage curve and found himself heading straight into the fence. And I remember you guys watching that in slow motion, as you say, multiple times, and just laughing, laughing, and laughing. Because you know that's what he would have been doing to you.
Absolutely. He's still running in P4 in spite of that, but well, I don't know. Shane was the only guy out of that battle pack that has pitted, and he obviously had an absolutely disastrous stop in the lane for nearly 2 minutes in total. So unless those guys all have equally bad pit stops, I think he's going to be taken out of that battle, unfortunately. So maybe not too bad in terms of position for Sean, but certainly he's 8 seconds behind Hogan Shrimpton now. So I think any thought of fighting for a podium where he looked to be on potentially for finishing as high as P2 tonight, that is, for now at least, certainly out of the question now. What's not out of the question is Hogan Shrimpton getting back up into P2, because he has pulled that gap down to Aaron Goodrick considerably in the last couple of laps, and that is now under a second, down to half a second, and Hogan showing good pace and keen to get on with it.
Yeah, about a second quicker just that last time by, and he's only the second car tonight to get a 1:39 and race trim. So he's absolutely flying in that BMW at the moment. I'd say light fuel and the BMW looking after the tyres a little bit better than the Corvette, I reckon.
Yeah, you could be right there. GTE Corvette is a rear engine or mid-engine car. BMW has the engine in the front, so that'll be kinda on the rear tyres with a little bit less weight over the rear axle. And of
Yeah,
course the
yeah.
rear tyres are delivering all your power in all these cars.
Yeah, that little bit of physics, that science with Shano.
Hogan will probably be keen to get a tear-off done at his pit stop as well. You can see a fair bit of dirt and grime on the windscreen there. Potentially not as bad from the driver's view as it looks on this close-up of the windscreen though. And he does always have, well actually, I was going to say he always has the option of turning on the window wiper to clear some of that off, which tends to work very well, but I'm not sure the GTEs actually have that enabled because they're not a rain-enabled car, are they?
No, not yet. No, I don't. No, it'll definitely be coming, I'd say. They're probably working on a new tyre model for them.
Not sure what happened to the left-hander there. Hogan getting in there quite slowly and Aaron able to pull away a little bit as a result. So, yeah, not sure why Hogan was so slow into that left-hander, but it cost him a little bit, but he's back on him now. Oh, I've just heard... Okay, so that was a lapped car, I think. I think it was Shane. Yeah, it was Shane Edgar. I heard the tyres. I saw a car facing the wrong way. I couldn't quite pinpoint who it was. It was Shane Edgar and cuts across the chicane there as well. So gonna have to take a slow down. So going from bad to worse since the pit stop now. But the change of tyres, probably cold tyres, still getting them back up to temperature. It takes a while to get these tyres up to a reliable temperature or a good temperature to run them in. And of course the heavy fuel load as well, so not handling as well as what he would have been used to before that pit stop, and the mistake coming there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like Alan Scott also had a minute pit stop, so I'm guessing there was an infringement coming into pit lane or something going on there that's caused him to need to do the same thing. But the average sort of pit
Oh,
stop, Sam Miller,
oh, that's
everybody's
so
moved. James
very awkward.
McKenzie, 6.8 seconds, 5.3 for Dylan Radford, 6.5. We've got a 4.7, so not needing too much to have enough fuel for tonight. We're over halfway at least too, so 24 minutes remaining.
Just
Yeah,
want to
what
take
happened
another
there?
look. Yeah, want to
Yeah,
take another look at it because it was so very awkward. So James McKenzie on the back of Sam Miller on the run up towards the high. Oh, so James locking rears and then not able to make the corner. So and then Sam Miller just having to take evasive action, couldn't turn into the corner because there was a Misfits Ford there.
and apologies if your ears are bleeding. There's two of them. Oh,
What's that, Corey? You want an onboard on the Ford?
I can't hear it because I can't hear the stream. So thankfully, but the people at home, we apologise if your ears are bleeding. Uh, No, no. Glorious, glorious car, I'm sure. And Stefan McCartan won last season in the Ford GT too, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He did do that. Aaron Goodrick took a fair bit of curb on the run through the first chicane there and looked like Hogan might be able to have an opportunity to squeeze past, but wasn't quite able to find anywhere to go with the momentum there. So sticking him behind for a little bit longer, gets through the left-hander much more efficiently on this occasion. Not the easiest of tracks to pass around though. There's no massive braking zones to get alongside. Probably the biggest one is down into turn one, but it's a curved braking zone, and you sort of do need to be already alongside before you get there. So it's the trick here is trying to work the exit somewhere to get a run, get alongside before the braking zone, and get the move done. And Hogan not quite able to do that up against Aaron just yet.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's about how much pace you can carry out of a corner here so that you can, yeah, get that overlap into the braking area before the next corner so you can clear people. Making a dive here just causes you to be side by side on an apex and somebody hits one of those curbs and starts flying through the air.
Yeah,
That gap, I was just saying, I just looked at this gap, 22 seconds now, Mitchell Sparrow, over this battle for second that we've got going on here.
yeah, Mitchell absolutely flying out there at the moment. Well, absolutely cruising as well.
Yeah, he just actually, no, he's flying. He's hit
He
the
is flying.
138s last time by. 138.944, fastest lap of the race. So light fuel at the moment, and obviously good tyres. I wouldn't be changing them, just be topping up with fuel and getting on out of there.
Yeah, these Michelins that the GTEs run are made for endurance racing, funnily enough, because the E in GTE does stand for endurance. So they are tyres built for endurance racing, so quite common to double, sometimes even triple stint them in cold track conditions in 24-hour races, especially as they are one we, unlike the GT3s, you can't do fuel and tyres at the same time in these cars. So very commonplace to double or sometimes triple stint your tyres in endurance racing, so they will well and truly handle a 1 hour stint here tonight.
Yeah, of course, and a driver change is covered under a full tank of fuel in one of these cars. So Yeah, I've done many a lap in a GTE car. A couple of podiums actually. Pretty proud of them. One at Le Mans and one at Daytona.
Very cool, as Dylan Radford just opens the
Oh,
door to let Mitchell Sparrow go, and that was Sam Miller just recovering from a spin there. Might be regretting his choice of car because he's had a few moments out there, and yeah, it's not the easiest car to keep pointed in the right direction, is it?
well, I don't own it.
Lucky you.
I can't tell you. I honestly can't tell you. I'm assuming it's terrible. But I also can't drive, and Stefan proved that it's not that terrible by winning in it, so I am full of crap. But here we go, we've got Hogan Shrimpton. He's still just hanging around on the back Aaron Goodrich, just waiting for his opportunity to sneak on by. It hasn't been many of them though, has there?
No, there hasn't been many opportunities at all for Hogan to get that position, but he's right there and he's putting the pressure on. But it could come down to pit strategy. To be honest, if I was Hogan, I would be thinking about getting in now. Get in, fuel it up, get into some fresh air, see if you can put some clean laps down. The challenge there will be, without planning on doing tyres as well, no fresh tyres to take advantage of, and even if he did, he would have to get those tyres up to temperature again, so he'd probably be slower for about 3 or 4 laps anyway, plus all the added weight of that extra fuel that they're going to put in, although they're not taking a huge amount of fuel, so I don't know, could be interesting. He's got the pace, and if he can get into some clean air, he might actually be able to use that to make a difference, but he's not having much luck trying to get it done on track at the moment.
Yeah, still plenty of time, and it's the thing with endurance races. These two still having to pit. No, they've pitted, haven't they? No, they
No,
still need to pit. So that's a little bit to come into play too. Who's going to get a better pit stop? Well, do you come in first? Do you try the undercut? And I'm guessing, yeah. So we're going to have to pull the pin at some point. Come in.
yeah, like I say, if I was Hogan, I'd be getting in now. I'd be getting it done, get some clean air, try and get the undercut. Like I say, trying to do it on track just doesn't seem to be working for him at the moment. Aaron's just not giving him that opportunity so far.
Yeah, no, but well, one person in the top 10 has made their pit stop. That's James McKenzie, and he is a minute 30 behind the leader. So that's a lap, just under a lap.
Well, Hogan's got the run here, closing in under that rear wing. He's going to pull out. They're going to go side by side, and he did exactly what we talked about earlier. Set the run up off that final corner, got alongside before the braking zone, and got the move done into the first chicane. So it took him a while, but he got there, Hogan did, without having to do it on strategy. Can he stay there now?
Yeah, that's it. You gotta stay there, and can still be lost in the pit stop for Hogan as well. It could be Aaron that takes the dive in now, and yeah. But these two are the closest on track still. Sean's 4 seconds back behind, and Sean's managed to do himself. He's in the 139s now, so the third car to hit that pace.
Yeah, and of course Mitchell Sparrow a few laps ago hit the 38s.
Yeah, for flying.
So Hogan's already been able to stretch the legs a little bit since making that pass as well, so still within a second, but out to 7/10 already on the lap when he made the pass, so proving that he had the pace and he was just getting a little bit held up behind Aaron there, but of course Aaron every right to keep racing. No requirement to let him go there. He's in the race, so we're on the same lap, and he didn't exactly block. He wasn't weaving around making it hard. He was just driving his line and not making the mistakes and not giving Hogan the opportunity until Hogan was eventually able to grab that. But Hogan looks like he just got slowed up a little bit by the lap car of Josh Thompson there, and that's allowed Aaron to close in a little bit again.
Yeah, just keeping the spice going.
Oh!
He's just got around Dylan Radford. Dylan Radford off track.
I'm seeing crash data for Dylan Radford as well, and he is limping it back, so that was Dylan that they just went past, so I think Dylan having quite a monumental moment out there. Oh, losing the rears. Nothing to suggest he would have picked up damage there. Oh, potentially just staying out of the way when we saw him rather than limping back with damage.
Yes, I think that might have been what happened. He did a good job of keeping out of the way. Would have been hard to back that thing out of there. Imagine getting that stuck out the pit exit next week. Mike Robinson moment there. And a massive shout out to MRP, Aaron, the team at MRP, sponsoring Supercars NZ GT series is continuously for as long as I can remember, and getting right in behind the GT series as they do, and Track Racer being one of their major products. They've got yep, that's it, it's flashing on your screen, 15% off all Track Racer products from the 14th through to the 28th of November. So you've still got 8 days to get on mrp.co or mrpsimracing.co.nz and get amongst it. Get yourself some awesome Track Racer products. V&M, they also have SimiCube if you want to get yourself the new SimiCube 2 Pro or whatever it is now. So you got way too much Newton meters of torque. It'll rip your arms off if you really wanted to, but why not?
Yeah, be careful when you crash if you got that turned all the way up. Get your hands well and truly out of the way before you hit the wall.
Yeah, I've seen some funny AI clips. Yeah, I bet you've seen them too. And the whole sim starts twisting and braking and doing flips because, got too much torque.
Tim Miller, Tom McCall doing battle, and Shane Edgar was the lap car that just sailed through there, and tow to the pits, didn't request a tow, but I wonder if he had some hardware failure there, because that looked very strange. Didn't even come close to making the corner. Unfortunately, Sam's just dropped off the back of Tom McCall as well. That was our only battle under a second on track before that moment, and now that's gone out over, well, close to 2 seconds now. So everybody rather spread out at the moment.
Yeah, they are. We almost need somebody to... Oh, there we go. Shane Edgar towing without request has been noted by Race Control.
Okay, you may notice we're not hearing the race control calls tonight. We have made the call, Sean made the call to turn that off. It hasn't really been working, and yeah, we've given up on that experiment, but obviously Corey able to keep us in the loop there, able to hear that through his server.
I was unaware that that call had been made, and uh, I had noticed that it wasn't coming up on the screen though, so that was actually the first call for the whole race so far. So we've got 50 minutes through a GTE race without a race control call, and it was for something that was really not really, needed, but excellent race so far. Great first round for the GTE series, and there is another 3 rounds to come, as we have said. Canadian Tire next week, followed up by Spa and Long Beach. But if you're wanting to watch some more racing, where are we racing in the V8s on Tuesday night, Shane?
That's a very good question, Corey.
I can't say it. Sashering?
Session
I
ring?
Session Ring. Is that it? Session Ring. Never heard of it. Sounds interesting.
It certainly is interesting.
I will be tuning in. The Broadcasting Lounge is number 3 on my. I did the recap thing for YouTube today, and the Broadcasting Lounge is number 3. And we'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. If you're watching now, we would love it. Just subscribe, come along, watch some of the racing. Racing every Tuesday, every Thursday, plus endurance racing that happens from time to time on Saturdays and Sundays, and the odd time we might do something on a Friday night or a Wednesday night. You never know. But there's always the Broadcasting Lounge. You're welcome. Come and get amongst it with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Hit that subscribe. Make sure you click the bell and turn your notifications on so that you get notified when we go live. But pretty much every Tuesday and Thursday, we might take a week off in between seasons. Sometimes we still stream during that week 13 as well, though. But certainly during our season, every Tuesday and Thursday, normally just before 8:30, we'll go live, and you can check in with us and join us for some exciting racing.
Yeah, well, there is something to do this week 13 or Mad Week. We're going to be doing our Gen 3 Super Soapbox again, Shano. You'll be helping me out with that. That's on the Wednesday. I can't even remember the date right now. I think it could be like the 17th. That number rings a bell for some reason. I'm going to have to look. Oh no, crikey.
That was certainly great fun last year, a great event that you put on, Corey, and I'm looking forward to helping you broadcast that again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blast, and I won't be able to have a go myself this year without having a sim unless I'm. Oh, it is. I got it. It was December the 17th. Is the Wednesday night,
Oh,
so
very
that was
nice.
the number in my head. So well done, Corey. So obviously Mount Washington descent ignition must be off. You can only have the ignition on to try and get yourself out of trouble. That's the way it's going to work this year. So if you're caught with your ignition on while moving down the hill, then your time's going to be void. But just to enter, it will be a donation to Cancer Society via a fundraising page, which I better get my antigen set up. uh, yes, so a little bit to go there, but all the information in the Discord. You can scroll down the Discord into the special events section, and you'll find the Gen 3 Super Soapbox little piece in there, and I'll be putting some more information in there over the coming weeks.
Awesome stuff. Can't wait for that. And of course, a good cause as well with the Cancer Society. Now, how is it that Team West cars always seem to find each other on track? We've got Dan Turner and Wayne Hartner, closest battle on track at the moment, sitting at just under half a second there.
Yeah, mates racing with each other, that's what they do. They absolutely love it. And I did see Gamma Flare or Nico parting ways with Gamma Flare as well, was some news I seen this week. I don't know if it's public knowledge. But
It is
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. So Nico's a good wee racer. So any team out there, I reckon you go jump on it and get him in there.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. I wasn't aware of that myself, but I hope it's parting on good terms. I hope things haven't soured there because Nico, very much a good guy, and he's very proudly represented Game of Flair over, I think it must be pretty close to a year, maybe even over a year now that he's been with those guys.
Yeah, yeah, it must be something like that. Just must have been almost, I think, spring, into spring coming into summer last year. Maybe he might have moved. I think it was more a timing thing for him. He's busy with work and couldn't commit to too many hours. Maybe just wanting to be a little bit more laid back with it. You never know, but that's always a good call. I've done it. I don't do any racing myself anymore. I do miss it, but I still have the service to look at and enjoy.
So we're
It
inside
helps.
the.
I have Sims at work though. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that certainly would help, working around the Sims. Um, yeah, we're inside the last 5 minutes, so Mitchell Sparrow. Well, his lead's come down to 15 seconds. He still isn't pitted, by the way. The majority of the top 10 still yet to pit. Less than 5 minutes remaining. So,
They may not
Sean...
have to pit. There's no compulsory pit stop, I don't think.
No, I don't think there is. Sean's certainly given them quite a bit of fuel. We'll wait and see if they do need to come to the lane. I mean, Mitchell Sparrow's been cruising out front so easily. If it was close to being able to make it, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually managed to save enough to get there.
Yeah, he's saving fuel by being quite a bit faster than everybody else, which is quite a good thing to have in your toolbox.
Yeah, well, generally the faster guys do tend to use a bit more fuel when they're running at full pace, but if you've got the ability to make a gap like that, you can just back it off a little bit and get away with driving it at 95% and save a bit of fuel and just be smooth and consistent and use less fuel. We're under 2 minutes remaining now, so
He's got to be saving actually. His last lap was 1:44, Shona, so he's buttoned off quite a bit.
yeah, that does look to be the case, and this could be the final lap that we're about to start now. I'm waiting to see if we get the notification up on screen. We haven't got that yet, and we're only a minute and a half to go as he crosses the line. So I think SDK's let us down after getting me all excited last week.
We'll see what happens coming up to the line this time by, which is a whole lap away.
It is.
But it's been a race run well by Mitch Barrett tonight. 15.5 second lead over Hogan Shrimpton at the moment. So great job from the young fella.
Yeah, he's absolutely cruising out there. I do believe this is the final lap. 45 seconds remaining. I don't think he's going to get round in time to start another one, and to be honest, he may even make sure that he doesn't, because I think, well, he's actually picked up the pace because he's done a purple second sector, so I think he has made sure that this will be the final lap, and he's made sure that he's got enough fuel to do it. Bounces it over the curbs, out onto the exit curb, 20 seconds to go.
Dan Turner in the lane, so he didn't have enough to get that last lap in. So a little bit heavy on the finger for Dan.
Yeah, that's right, he's not driving with his feet, because he doesn't have the use
It's
of them.
who's that he's just gone by? That person could be the smartest thing they did. They are running out of fuel,
That
and
was Dane Noda. I think I taught
yeah,
him that trick.
wait for the winner, the leader. Well done, nice work.
I asked him to do that in the bend enduro when he was my teammate in the final stint, and we didn't quite have enough fuel for one more lap. I was like, just back it off and let Stefan go past, and you won't have to do it. And he's done exactly the same thing here tonight. But Mitchell Sparrow picks up the win. Hogan Shrimpton finishes in second, and Aaron Goodrick picks up a podium tonight. Sean McNamara coming home in P4 in a race of what could have been for him, because he certainly had plenty of pace early on, but just a few too many mistakes. Rob Carwood coming home in P5, Leith Swinney P6, Wayne Hartnell P7, James McKenzie, sorry, um, still coming to the line, running in P8 at the moment.
Yeah, be happy with the top 10. And he's gained a position that last lap with Dan Turner having to come in and take some fuel, and James had already done that on lap 19. So it was probably a good move to come in and just take that little splash.
Yes, so James, first finisher out of the guys that did take a pit stop, and worth noting that all the Fords did have to take a pit stop as well. So potentially the Ford's using a bit more fuel. Dan Turner going to come home in P9, and we saw Dane Noduff coming across the line, first car a lap down. He was rounding out our top 10 as well. And then we had Steve Bella, Tom McCall, Josh Thompson, Sam Miller, Alan Scott, Dylan Radford I don't think actually made the finish, and same with Shane Edgar, Dan Turner and Jono Gibson. Actually Jono Gibson was race control, so that wraps us up for tonight, although we've still got a few cars out there doing some skids by the sound of it. Oh, Mitchell Sparrow just toes having finished that up.
Yeah, everybody just taking that little lap in just to soak everything in. Bit of adrenaline in some cases too after you finish a race. You know, the happy feeling if you've felt like you've made an advance on, or maybe you got a PB during the race, made an awesome pass. Something to talk about at Smoko tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. I always like doing a full in lap at the end of a race, no matter how it's gone. It's good to just have that moment to decompress, cruise around, and get it back to the pits, and then jump out of your car and process how your race went.
So yeah, a little bit of passing into pit lane there.
So yeah, Mitchell Sparrow, our race winner for tonight, and actually it looks like we've got him in the waiting room, so we can have a chat. Mitchell Sparrow, dominant performance tonight and taking a very comfortable P1. How was that?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, it was late home from work tonight. We were quite busy getting some stuff ready for the race weekend ahead, and decided jump on and have a swing. I just loaded in a baseline iRacing setup, and it was pretty fast and quality, and decided we'll slap some fuel on it for the race and see how she goes. And yeah, it's pretty fast.
How
Yeah,
much fuel did you have left?
I came across the line with, I think it was like 1.8 liters, which was like zero point 0.8 of a lap. But I think throughout the race I had to save about three and a half lap worth, which added up for me. It was about 10 or 11 liters. It was quite a bit, which I don't really enjoy. You know, like, I feel like that race, if I was full noise the whole time, I could have pulled a gap to around 30 seconds, which to me is way more enjoyable, just going hammering ton for an hour. But I guess that's part of racing, is having to save some fuel and and strategize throughout the race. And yeah, with 10 minutes to go, I was quite a bit short. So yeah, I think that's why the gap considerably dropped. But yeah, the last lap I was able to open her back up and do the fastest lap of the race, and yeah, it was quite enjoyable.
we did notice that you dropped your lap times back quite considerably towards the end there, so clear that you're doing a little bit of saving. You had an early scare though, running wide on lap 2 and allowing Sean McNamara to get into the lead. Were you just caught out by the gravel on track from the lap 1 incidents, were you?
To be brutally honest, I hadn't done like a single proper out lap or like a first 2 laps on a cold tyre for full tank, and I just barreled in there at the hairpin and chirped the front. And that kind of taught me my lesson that I needed to wind a little bit of front brake bias out of it and just relax. And then yeah, I slowly got back into my rhythm. And then once that happened and I felt comfortable again, we pulled the gap. But yeah, definitely was a scary moment. I thought I was on the fence. I was trying to modulate the pedal so much, and I just couldn't get the thing to stop to get off its flat spot. But yeah, luckily we got it round, came out alongside Sean, and the setup that I had in was very low downforce. So once I got to the straight, I knew that I'd be able to clear him by the end and then just get back into my rhythm.
You certainly had good pace advantage down the straight, and then you did open up that gap again. Anyone you want to shout out tonight?
Yeah, just everyone that supports me in my real racing. I got Digger Bits, Euro Garage, Glasshouse Property Management. Everyone else that's on board. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that help me out. Obviously, my workplace, my Mackenzie Motorsport, do a lot for me, and yeah, have taught me a lot on how to set up race cars and stuff, which gives me a nice big leg up when I come to this. And then everyone else that helps me and supports me throughout all my endeavours. I'm really excited to get back in the real seat this weekend in my NZ V8 Ute at Hampton for round 2 and see how that goes. So I feel like I've put in a lot of work on the sim recently, trying to work on some stuff that I learnt personally at round 1, and I'm now really looking forward to getting back in the real thing and seeing how we stack up this weekend.
Good stuff. Is there anywhere we can watch that if we can't make it to Hampton Downs, or any of our viewers can catch that action?
Unfortunately, there's no live stream for this weekend's racing. But if you pop on down to Hampton Downs over the weekend, it's just south of Auckland. I think it's a $20 ticket to get in. There's some awesome categories racing, and there's a couple of us that race on here. Myself, Glenn Collinson, and a couple of others that will be racing. And yeah, it'll be awesome to see everyone out there. Come say hello and enjoy an awesome weekend's racing with some good weather.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, cheers, Mitch.
Thanks very
Congratulations
much,
on the
guys.
win, and good luck for
Thank
your
you.
weekend's action.
Cheers, boys. Thank you.
All right, so race winner Mitchell Sparrow, and good bit of information from him there that you can catch him in real world racing at Hampton Downs this weekend. So if you're in Auckland or Waikato regions, make your way to Hampton Downs and check that out. It should be a good weekend of racing, and you can cheer Mitch on.
Yeah,
But
what a
anyway,
great class to learn in too, the V8 Utes. God, I'd love to drive one of those.
oh, that'd be so cool, wouldn't they? Always put
Oh,
on exciting racing, and they do look so much fun to drive. So very cool for Mitch to be involved in that.
yeah, iRacing should definitely scan those Utes and put them in the service.
Definitely, definitely. The Craftsman trucks, NASCAR trucks, just aren't quite that, are they? They're a little bit of fun, but they're not. I don't feel like they're a well, I don't think they're as good as what those V8 Utes seem to be, but I don't know. I've never actually driven one, so I can't really tell you. Anyway,
Yes.
we're rambling on now, so I think it's time we wrap it up, Corey. Big thanks to MRP coming on board or staying on board as series sponsor for our GT racing and back in the MRP GTE Championship for spring. That's round 1 done and dusted, and big thanks to Stephen McCartan and DSM Painting and Decorating. Check them out on Facebook or on their website, which I did quote earlier, and I don't have that up now. So I think it's dsmpainting.co.nz anyway, or just find them on Facebook, and you can find all their details there. Big thanks to you, Corey, for sitting alongside me again in the lounge tonight.
Absolutely, my pleasure. It was great. Always good to get in on these races, and I love the GTEs. It's one of my favourite classes. So yeah, no complaints here, mate.
Awesome, and of course, thanks to all our drivers for coming along and putting some action on for us, because without them, it'd just be me and Corey talking garbage for an hour. And big thanks to everybody at home for tuning in. We will see you all next time.
Since I was a kid, I've been a G.